Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to another installment of the We Got Next podcast. Welcome everybody to another installment of the We Got Next podcast. Now, brother, it's our custom here to take a deep breath before we start. All right. So hello, welcome everybody, ladies and gentlemen. This is what everybody been waiting for. We got the preacher, the stylist, the consultant. Doncor Archie is here, ladies and gentlemen. We got the one and only, brother. I'm so thankful for you being here, man.
Man, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be a part of.
Yes, sir. You know, it's a lot to discuss with you. You are a mighty man of God, but I think the first question is, how are you feeling? How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good.
That's good.
I'm feeling all right.
That is
I'm
good,
feeling
man.
all right.
All right, well, let's start. Let's take us all the way back.
All the way back.
Let's take us all the way back.
We can go back.
We can go all the way back.
I think if anybody can go back, we can go back.
We can go back.
Yeah.
Take us to when you first realized your passion or love for God.
Man, I do not remember a time not loving God, not loving God's people, not loving the things of God. My grandmother often jokes about me being knee high, 2 years old, preaching, running around the house, asking for a briefcase and a microphone.
Right.
Because all my life, I literally do not remember not loving God and loving the things of God. But what I will say is around 6 or 7 years old, just being in church, being raised in church, reared in the faith, I really started to push myself towards my calling, and I started preaching. I preached my first sermon at 7 years old on the street corners. The video is still on YouTube.
You have to know what's wrong, because if it had not been for the Lord who's on our side, we wouldn't be standing here right now today.
I preached my first sermon based off a book that Elder Debbie wrote.
Wow.
She wrote a book. Elder Debbie wrote a book called The Father's Blessing.
Wow.
Back, now I can say many years ago. I feel old, but it was 2007, and I preached. That was my first sermon.
The Father's
Blessing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 7 years old, you out on street corners, preaching,
evangelizing.
You know,
selling bean pie.
You know, most 7-year-olds are playing with toys. With their Spider-Mans, you're out preaching. So you say you can't remember a time where your passion and love for God wasn't there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the preaching aspect. As you said, you were preaching, and as you started preaching, when were you like, okay, was it always clear this is what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah. I had this conversation with Tamara, my auntie TT. Everybody know it, affectionately called as TT. And she was like, man, you know, one thing I really admire about you, and she said, all your life you knew what you wanted to be and you stuck to that.
Right.
So I take that as a testimony, bro. I really do, that God allowed me the opportunity at a young age to experience the call, hear the call, accept the call, and walk in the call.
Wow.
You know, I thank God for that. I thank God for people like my mother and my grandmother, and you know, Chief Apostle and Bishop Mitchell, people that kept me, you know, Elder Richie, so many people that kept their foot on my neck,
right?
You know, and kept me close to the fire, you know, so that what God had called me to do, and what was very evident at a young age, you know, I stuck to that for the rest of my young adult life.
What made you stick to it? Why didn't you feel like, well, you know, I can stray just a little bit. I ain't gotta go all the way off, but I can stray just a little bit.
You know what, man? I fell in love with it. You know, I think a lot of times people, especially young people, they stray away from God. They stray away from church because the love is not there. you know. And when the love is not there, the desire definitely won't be there. And one thing that always rings in my ear that Apostle taught us is that live your life loving God. I can always remember him saying, don't live your life trying to do good.
Right.
But live your life loving God. And through loving God, you won't have the desire to do bad. And man, that's really my testimony. I fell in love. And I can even be transparent and honest to say that at a young age, I fell in love with the people of God.
Absolutely.
And the things of God before I even had an idea or before I even had a relationship, you know, with God. So man, I fell in love with the preacher.
Absolutely.
You know, I fell in love with the preacher moment. You know, the hype of the crowd. You know, I fell in love of dancing. You know, I just love the energy that church produced. You know, I felt like I could be myself. I felt like I was at home, no matter what church I went to.
Right.
You know, and I think, man, that's what kept me. That's what kept pushing me. And I said, man, this is me.
Absolutely.
You know, I didn't feel. I tried, you know, different things, you know, as a youngin, you know, I tried playing football. That surely was not for me. not at all. Running up and down the field, no.
That wasn't it.
No, I tried that, man. I tried so many different things, man. I remember one time I tried, you know, doing a little spelling bee. That
the words wasn't it either.
That wasn't me, man. My passion, my love. Since, like I said, since I can remember, has been found in the church, in God, in the things of God.
Okay, so then that is a perfect. I think that is the best answer you could ever ask for, because when you talk about your love for just the moment of church and what church produced,
the culture,
fashion comes with that.
Fashion
comes with that.
It was everything about me, man, was birthed in the church.
Right.
Everything about me. My love for music was birthed in the church. My love for fashion was birthed in the church. Right. Man, my love for people was birthed in the church, man. And that's so true. It started in the church. Man, seeing Chief come out
clean.
Clean.
Every time.
Clean. Every time. Three services, three different suits, three different shirts, three different ties, three different pairs of shoes. And it just, I said, man, I want to be that.
Right.
You know, and then when I found out I could make money, it was a wrap then.
So let's dive into the fashion aspect. When did you find out you can make money? When did you say, I want to be a fashion consultant?
Man, so let me go back to my first job. My first job was a caddy. I worked as a caddy, and working as a caddy taught me a work ethic. Now, let me say, my work ethic first started in serving in church. And I brag about that all the time, because if you ever want to learn how to serve all kinds of different
just go to church.
Just go to church.
Absolutely.
I started working as a caddy. That really wasn't my thing. And then I started working at AMC Theaters in Southfield. That was my second job. And I did not like cleaning theaters and fixing folks' popcorn. I didn't like that. It wasn't for me either. And my third job at 15 years old, because I remember I started working at 14, and I had to get a worker's permit. So at 15 years old, I started working at JCPenney's in Novi.
Right.
And I was working in the men's department at JCPenney's, man, and I fell in love with the suit department at JCPenney's. Now, always, enjoyed dressing, enjoyed suits, enjoyed clothes. Even as a child, one of my punishments, if I got in trouble at school, was I had to wear jeans and a t-shirt to church, and I would be in the back sick about it.
Devastating.
Sick about it. But man, my passion for the retail industry and the clothing industry, the fashion industry, started in the suit separates department at JCPenney's.
Wow.
I was selling suit separates, man, and I just kept saying to myself, this is not the stuff that I see my pastor wearing.
Right.
I got to change this.
Right.
But man, that's where it started, man. I would see people come in there, and I said, folks buy clothes.
No, they buy clothes.
They buy clothes. So that's where it started, in the JCPenney suit department.
So that birthed Doncor Official.
Yeah. So let me say, I went from JCPenney's to working at a consignment store called Label Legends. That's where I learned all of my brands. I kind of developed my own style. Then from there, I started working at Sam's Alterations in Southfield. And then from there, Sam's Alterations is where Doncor Official was birthed.
Right.
I started doing alterations. Man, I would go to Goodwill, go to Salvation Army, man, buy clothes and then try to alter them myself.
Right.
I messed up a lot of suits.
But that's the process.
I messed up a lot of suits, man. But man, from that, then it just was like, people like, man, that's nice. I'm like, where'd you get that from? I'm like, man, if I told you, you wouldn't believe
You wouldn't believe it.
And man, it was guys like Jeremy Mosley and Jason Mosley, and that took a chance on me, in the inception of my business, man, that gave me an opportunity to mold and shape what I wanted to be as a stylist, what I wanted to be as a designer. And man, but Doncor Official started with me styling suits, laying those $100 suits at Sam's on that styling table, man, with Stephen Land shirts, Stephen Land ties, man, and Carucci shoes. I'll never forget it. That's where it started, man. And guys said, like, man, I love your style, but do you do something outside of here?
Right.
I'm like, I guess I could,
Yeah.
And man, that's how it happened.
So talk to us about just finding the lane. Because you said that, I tried being a caddy, wasn't it?
No, that wasn't it.
Tried playing football,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
That wasn't it.
We'll talk about once you found your lane.
Yeah.
How did you say, okay, this fashion here, this is my lane. Yeah. Now, it's a lot of people doing a lot of other things, and then it's a lot of people who are probably more successful than me at doing it. And I think that's just, as far as we got next to young people coming up, I think that goes to show just staying your course and staying in your own lane.
Yeah, man, in order for me to stay in my lane, I had to first find out whether or not that was my passion.
Absolutely.
And man, and the way I found out it was my passion was I was willing to do it at no cost and for anybody. Man, I worked at Sam's, man, and I was just glad
to be there. Right.
Man, wasn't making much, working one day a week, but come Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, before the doors open, my ride was dropping me off, man, and I was just glad to be there. So to answer your question, the way I stayed in my lane, man, was I literally fell in love with the craft, man. The desire was already there, the passion was there, man, because I had just loved church, I love, clothes, I love the churchy look,
right?
Man, and man, that's what the kind of guys that came into Sam's were, and man, it was like, okay, this is it, right? And when I started to branch off and styling on the side, man, I was like, it was just like tunnel vision, it was tunnel vision because I love it.
Right.
I love it. Absolutely. I love my family. I love God. I love the people of God. I love the church. But man, I love clothes. I love fashion, man. Absolutely. I really do.
So we got a few things here from you.
Okay.
We got a quote from you.
A quote.
We got a quote from you, actually. We went to your bio, me and my research department. We went to your bio, and we said, and this is in your bio of Doncor Official, and it is my desire to help you bring your desired image to life.
Yeah, that sounds.
Do you think that speaks to exactly what you do? It is your desire.
It does.
To help bring their image to life.
Yeah, that's what I speak to. Go ahead.
And then now we're talking about you moving from Detroit, and now you're at ABC.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that first of all, because you can cover a lot. You can talk about being a college student.
Yeah.
You can talk about staying saved, being a college student. You can talk about everything, the trials of being that.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about the decision to go to college initially, and why to ABC.
Man, let me first start by saying I did not want to go to college. I hated high school. Most days I wanted to keep driving by the school.
Just drive straight.
And let me tell my testimony, man. A lot of people don't know this, but I was a hellion in high school. A lot of days that I wanted to drive by the school, I did.
You just drove by.
Just kept going.
You just kept going.
Hey y'all, yeah, I see y'all around lunch,
Yeah,
maybe. And man, I hated school. I mean, I hated it so much, and it was not my desire to go to college, man. I was like, I was cool working at Sam's, selling suits, man. In my mind, I said, now I'm about to. When I graduate, I'm getting on the road preaching. My engagement's about to blow. In my mind, man, my pastor told me, he heard me say that one day. Bishop Mitchell heard me say that one day, and he looked at me strange. He said, "Oh no, you going to school?" he said, "I don't want you to think you're gonna be in Detroit preaching and not go to school." So I said, "Well, if I gotta go to school, I honor the man of God and what he said is going." So I said, well, since my mom like, oh no, you going to school? My dad like, oh no, you going to school? No, okay. So I said, okay, if I'm going to go to school, what is a school that I can find that I can both cultivate, my purpose and also cultivate my passion. And I think, that a lot of times you can have a purpose, that's one thing, and a passion that's something totally different.
Absolutely.
My purpose, God put me on this earth to be a preacher, but my passion, is fashion. And I said, I got to find a place where I can mix my purpose and passion. And I found ABC, man. I was looking for a degree program where I could study entrepreneurial leadership and Bible theology at the same time. And no other school had that but ABC. And I came across ABC. I saw it was a preacher's school, and I started asking people about it. And when I started to see the different people that came out of ABC, I'm like, okay, this may be a school for me. And one of my mentors, I love him so dearly, Pastor David Johnson, is a graduate. He's an alum of ABC. He said, Nev, I think that'd be a good school for you. Right. And I said, okay. So I did not apply my senior year to any other school but ABC. I applied, I got in, that was it. That's where I was going. That's where I ended up.
And you ended up there, and this is 2018.
Yeah, 2018. August of 2018.
August of 2018.
Yes, sir.
You're in your third year now, right?
Yeah, I'm in my junior year. I am to graduate May of 22.
How does it feel?
It's been a long time coming. It's funny because it's the shortest and the longest process at the same time, man. There's days when it feels like the degree is so far away, but then there's days when I look back like, man, it's right 2021. Right. I'm a year away. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I feel like when you talk about just the journey, that college journey, what's the biggest difference in your opinion than the high school, than making that transition to college? You were in college during the pandemic, so you've seen how it was before the pandemic, during, and now as we try to come out of it. What's been the biggest difference?
Man, the difference between high school and college is responsibility. In high school, you got people in your ear, people, in your circle, in your face, pushing you. You miss an assignment, they call it home. You skip class, they call it home. College not like that.
They don't care.
They don't care. You have to be solely responsible and disciplined on your own. And that was one of the biggest challenges for me my freshman year. Like, okay, I got a couple weeks in, like, you know what? Ain't nobody checking. Ain't nobody telling me to. Oh, I got to do this on my own. So it that first year, man, it required for me to build a level of discipline and responsibility that, honestly, high school had not taught me. Man, because, high school, they try to push you, but, man, they baby you. And, man, college is not like that. And I can say that to the young people that are watching, start disciplining yourself now. Becoming responsible now, because if you plan on going to college, it's a whole nother ball game.
It's on another world.
Yeah, it is.
They don't care about late assignments.
No.
No.
None of that.
None of that.
You know, the paper is due
When it
at
says
11:59. At 12 o'clock,
the paper late.
That paper is late,
The paper
and
is
depending
late.
on the professor, it's a 0.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, so it's very little room to slack. You know, and then the other thing is that you paying for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you paying for it. It's coming out of your pocket. So they like, I mean, you know, if you want to waste your money, go right ahead. You know, but yeah, man, that's it's down. It boils down. The difference boils down to responsibility and discipline.
So as you see the finish line near, like you said, you're 1 year away. What's next after? You say, I finally got this degree. Is it for ministry? Is it for getting into your fashion bag? Is it what's next?
Man, that is really where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a place of trying to figure that out. I know what my desires are, but ultimately I have to let God lead me for sure. So I'll share with you what my desires are. My desire is to, of course, expand my brand and to continue working with. I'm the manager at DNK Menswear in Nashville. Continue to working with DNK, trying to expand that brand as well. I also just started as executive pastor at St. Luke in Nashville. So working there, just getting a more ministry experience, you know, working with the people of God, trying to learn all I can, so that when that big door does open, whatever that big door may be, I'm ready. You know, I do not think that, you know, those 4 years was all the preparation that I need for where God is going to take me.
Absolutely.
So I'm really in a season of preparation, just allowing God to groom me and shape me, allowing the people around me to groom me and shape me. Yeah, even still right now.
Absolutely, yeah. Because every time I see you, you're preaching somewhere. You was preaching yesterday before you was preaching the first day you came back to the city or in Nashville. So yeah, man, this has been absolutely amazing. We have finally got the people what they want. Is there any last wisdom, advice, words, anything you want to say to the people watching? Anything that you've learned, your experiences, and anything that you can share with the We Got Next people?
Man, I want to tell y'all in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7 through 10, talks about Paul having this thorn in his side. And the context of the text, Brother Preacher, is that Paul, he gets this revelation that is beyond human understanding. And to keep Paul humble, God gives him a thorn. He gives him this thorn, and Paul is trying to figure out why he has this thorn. Because the thorn is uncomfortable. The thorn does not feel good. But ironically, as painful as the thorn is, the thorn was for Paul's best interest. And Paul goes to God, as we know, and says, you know, Lord, take this thorn from me. He asked the Lord 3 times, and God tells him, he says, no, I'm not going to take the thorn because my grace is sufficient. And I believe that as young people, we all got thorns. Somebody got big thorns, somebody got small thorns, but we all are dealing with something. And the truth is, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what you're going through, no matter what happened in the past, no matter what baggage you are carrying, God says that my grace is sufficient. You know, there's a term that we use in theology called God being, he's an insoluble God. Simply meaning that he may not take the pain away, but he will strengthen you to endure the pain because the pain makes you better. And that's just my word of encouragement to someone, that God, his grace is sufficient.
Absolutely.
And his grace is enough. That's the word sufficient just means that it's enough.
It's enough.
His grace is enough to carry you. His grace is enough to strengthen you. His grace is enough to push you to whatever that place of purpose, that place of destiny is that he's called you to.
Absolutely.
You know, so although the thorn may be painful, it's for your good.
Absolutely.
It's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. Doncor, we thank you so much, brother, for coming on. This is the the best feeling in the world, having my brothers on. This whole thing is just for the kingdom to come together, man. You know, no one wears a family for you, we're all wonderful. We got the same goal in mind. Thank you so much for coming on. I got all your things below, all his platforms, links, all of that. God bless you. Keep going. You're chosen by God. And as always, we got next.
Blink, you can miss some naked eyes.